Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Excel related tutorial by Team Slidescope. Here we are creating a simple Excel dashboard representing student performance. We are doing exploratory data analysis on this data. So you can see we have total number of students, their average math score, their average science, English score, average attendance percentage, and we can see attendance by gender, by grade level, by study group, by extracurricular activity. We also have some combo charts where we have selected grade level and all these scores combined. We have selected gender, all these scores combined, and also average attendance percentage. We can use these interactive filters to filter data accordingly. You can see here, you can clear the filters, you can select. We have different study groups, grade level wise performance, or extracurricular activity wise performance. You can select multiple to compare them. So everything that you can see here will be discussed. Next, you can also see we have pivot tables which we have created, rough pivot tables which are actually used there. How to create slicers where all these pivot table, like these slicers will be applied on all pivot tables. This is the actual data and this is the dashboard. One thing, heading spelling is wrong later, but I have corrected it. So please take care of that and let's get started. So in order to create the dashboard as you saw, what we have to do is we will first save this file because this file is originally given as a CSV file. So first of all, I am going to save it as a Excel file and then I will start my work. So by going into save as, I am saving it as Excel workbook and then it will be changed. Now once it is changed, you can see the file. You can click here on the last column, press Ctrl A and then press Ctrl T, table T. So when you will do that, you will see create table shortcut will come and you can say my table has headers. So this will be done and it will automatically open table design for you. Here you can write name of your table. We can say student record or whatever you want to write. So now we have a sheet called SS Student Performance Dataset and we have a table called Student Records based on your selected data. Once this is done, so we can obviously we have this name with us. Now you can go to insert or you already have that option here, summarize with pivot table. After insert you can go to pivot table from table or range. So now you can see that name is already coming here and it is asking where do you want your pivot table to be placed. So I am placing it in a new sheet. If you want to analyze multiple tables, you can add this data to a data model. So you can use Power Pivot or other tools for creating linking between those tables, which we have done in many other tutorials. Right now we will just click here and it will come. So and we can rearrange them. So what I mostly do is our main data table is first sheet, then comes our pivot table. So we can rename it as pivot tables. Here it will give you your first pivot table which you can see here, and here is pivot table analyze. So whatever data you are trying to analyze, you can name your pivot table accordingly. First data is we are going to create some KPIs. So I'm just writing here number of students, how many students are there, then their science score and math score. So what is their average score in science, what is their average score in maths. So like this is given in the data, so their average maths score. Then we also have their attendance percentage. So what is their average attendance percentage? So these kind of things can be created as a KPI. So we have grade level, and let's see other data. So whenever you are creating exploratory analysis dashboard or a performance dashboard, keep your numerical values like math, science, English, attendance. So in a similar way, we will add English also. Average science score, maths score, average English score. So this way, first you can decide your KPIs. So KPIs are very important because when you will add filters, so these KPIs will give you a good summary, like what whoever is analyzing or visualizing the data, they will give them a good summary of what is happening in the data set. So first pivot table we select, and we select student ID. So here pivot table fields will appear, and here you can see four different options: filters, columns, rows and values. So basically you can select these fields and put them in any of them. So if I select a student ID for example, so you can see pivot table started showing me all student IDs. Here in rows, you can see we have a student ID, but if I drag it to values, so it will give me count of a student ID. That was our first KPI, number of students. So this is count of student ID, and we can click here. We have value field settings. If you have to rename it from there. So something like students count. So this will be the name. Now when we are doing this, okay. So when we are creating pivot table, so what we have to do whenever we'll click here, so we can go to pivot table analyze and insert slicer. So whatever slicers you have. So in data sets like this, we mostly, it's not always, but we mostly put numerical values as KPI and categorical values as filters. For example, their gender, their grade level, their study group. These things can be used as filter. So their extracurricular, yes or no. So here you can see these are our filters. So extracurricular, study group. So we will just add it here. Grade level, like in which grade they are. So let me adjust. Obviously this is not the final dashboard, but I am just arranging, and gender. So these filters that you see here, these filters will be used in our dashboard as you saw for obviously filtering the data, for visualizing the data. For example, we have to see female student count. So we can click here, it is 116, male 134. Clear filter, music, student count 59, student with extracurricular none, sports. So you can see these filters are very important, and using these icons we can clear these filters. So now we have a student count. Important thing, once we created filters on this, so some students, what they do, they go back, they create another pivot table, and then these filters will not be applicable to that particular pivot table. You have to do a lot of other settings. So when you are creating filters, copy it and paste it. Once you will do that, these filters will automatically apply to that. So next is average science score. So we select science score and we remove student count. So by default it will select science score sum. Instead of sum, you can again go to value settings. You can select average and you can say average science score. So average science score is 69.832. The sim, and you can check. So if we click here, both fields are getting changed. That is important. So these filters should work on all of them. So then only we will be using them in dashboard. Then we copy it once again, Control C, Control V, and here we are going to use not this. So here we are going to select it, and instead of science score we are going to select math score. So it will select sum of math score again. So this is something we have to repeat 4 or 5 times based on our KPI. So we will just write average math score. So this will be average math score. Again copy and paste, and here we are going to select English. So English, and again value field settings, average. And it's not just it will not be average all the time. It will be something else also, like it can be maximum, minimum, standard deviation, variance of population, or variance of sample. So you just have to decide. You can use your number formatting here also. What is this number basically? If it's a currency, you can select currency. If it's a percentage, you can select percentage. So you can always have options like this. So we will normally select this. So now we have a student count, average science score, average math score, average English score. So this is done. And then finally, what is average attendance percentage? So we can select attendance percentage, value field setting once again, average, and average attendance percentage. So this way you will be able to create that. And let's click OK. Now we have these 5 KPIs with us. Oh, 5, yes. So we have our data, we have our pivot tables. Now let's add another sheet, and this will be our first dashboard. We can create multiple dashboard. So we can write it EDA dashboard 1. So because I have ideas of creating multiple, we'll rename it again. Now once you are in your dashboard, you can select everything, go to view, disable grid lines. Later you can disable formula bar also. You can select this, go to home, and fill with some background color. So whatever background color you want to have, for example, we can select like this. This is a good background color. Now in this background we can go to insert and quickly insert a shape, where we can use a rounded shape like this. And in this shape, obviously currently the fill color is this. So shape fill, we can select something else, whatever suits your requirement. So let's select this, and here we will write our heading. So student performance exploratory data analysis dashboard, and we can select this, align it to center horizontally and vertically, and then increase its font size. So we can use around 32 font size, and press Ctrl B. So this way you can actually create it. If you want to use this space for filters, you can just reduce its width and height like this. So this will be your dashboard heading. In Excel, you have options to insert some icons. So here you have those icons, and to represent students, we can search some icons and insert it there. So I think this will be good. So we can insert, and then we can actually color these icons. So currently color is black, we can fill with a light color like this. So let's go with this color. So this is our dashboard heading. And now what we created, pivot tables that we created. So we can bring that data over here. And before bringing that data, we are going to prepare some KPIs, KPI shapes. So we will insert, we'll go to shapes, and here again we will select this same shape, and we are going to arrange these shapes like this. So these shapes will have our KPI data. Now in these shapes, if you will click here, you can write something like, you can write what is this. So let's say we are writing a student count. Okay. We can select it and align it to center vertically, horizontally, something like that. Make it bold. So this way we can actually these shapes have this text option where we can actually write this information. And but to fill the KPI data that we created, so what we can do is we can insert a text box. So this text box we can click here. So now this text box is inserted, and in this text box we have to show that data from that sheet. So that data is in a sheet called pivot tables, and its cell number is A4, that data. So that's how we have to use concept of reference sheets. So to do that, you have to select this text box, and here in formula bar write equal to pivot underscore tables exclamation A4. A4 is the sheet name, and now it will be created. And now we can increase its size. Let's say we are going to keep it as 20 or 24 pixel. So why is it not changing? I'm selecting it once again, 24 pixel, and we will align it to center, and we can change its text size also. So we will just adjust its position, change its text color. So its text color is going to be this bold, and I will increase size a little bit more, 250. It is getting clipped, so let's add it like this. Yeah, so this is our first KPI, student count 250. If you want, you can add some icons over here also. So we can go to insert icons and select icon of our choice. So here we have a people section also, from where you can select these icons. So let's say if we select this and insert, so we can add that. And similarly we can change its graphic fill also. And for shape also we have selected the same color. Now we can copy these shapes 5 times because we have 5 KPIs. So we are just using Control C and V, and we have this entire space over here. So we can arrange them evenly, like align them with even gap. That is going to take a little bit of time, so let's do that. Next is we have to use shapes for these different KPI fields. So one is student count, average science score, average math score. So we can prepare our headers like this and then put data. So for data, we can copy this field and paste it here. Remember, when you will change the data, its styling may change, but we can use format painter to copy the styling easily. So we will just use like this. And in A4 we have student count. Math score is in A11. That's why I have kept it here. So math score is in A11. So as I said, styling may change. We will change it later. Science score is in A8. So we will just write A8. English score is in A14. A14. And attendance percentage 17. So attendance percent a 17. As I said, its styling is changed. So select where you have to apply the formatting. So select this copy format painter and apply here. Now we can adjust the number 69.91. So this is that number, and for this we can select size of 28 also, or maybe less, 26 I think will be good. And then we will apply format painter here, and similarly we can apply the styling to other scores as well. And you can see we have two decimal places here, in some cases three decimal places. So you can use round function also to summarize them, but that will be your choice. So, or for rounding to two decimal places, we can also click here in value field setting number format custom. You can select this. So again, this is optional. So I'm going to do that because I just want two decimal places. So now those values will automatically be showing two decimal places. And now we can, if you want, we can add their respective icons as well. So I'm pausing and trying to add from the same insert bar. Here we have education, where we can definitely find like for science, for maths and all. So we have selected these icons, and then we can format the same styling here also. Sorry. So format. Sometimes these icons are picky, so I will go and simply choose graphic fill like this. You can skip a couple of seconds again. And now for attendance also, if you want, so we have, actually I saw one icon. So in attendance, in education part, let's take this. So obviously we can use third party icons also, but I am not downloading them. We can use tools like Canva, or there are many other good tools out there. Even you can generate them with ChatGPT also. So those type of icons can be created. Now once we have created these KPIs, we can now add our filters here. So we have these filters, so we can select them. So holding control, we can select them and we can paste it here. So for example, extracurricular, gender, study group and grade level. These are the four filters. So when you will click on a filter, you will have more options, like you can select a particular color. So we can select for them. So kind of matches the theme. You can adjust it more as well. So this will be your filter area. We have, actually once we will present it, so we will click auto hide ribbon, so it will have this much height. So that's why we can actually increase its height and use the entire area. And in footer we can actually add our branding or something. So if you want to learn data analytics, you can contact us at slidescope.com. We provide online interactive classes where you will learn on different topics and subjects. So whether it's Excel, Power BI, Python, Tableau, anything you can learn with us. Let's go back to our pivot tables. So now we have created our data so far. We have created our KPIs so far. Now we have to create some visuals. So visuals, how are these visuals going to be? For example, first we will select or we will decide which is our target field. So let's say in our case, either we can create an average of these scores, which will be the total score average, and we can consider it as our average, or we can also consider attendance percentage also. So let's say in this case we are considering attendance percentage as our target field. So for attendance percentage, we will create these visuals. So I will, and remember, we whenever we have to create anything new, we have to use it. We have to use the same pivot table. Otherwise, these filters will not work. Because if you will go here, why I'm saying this? So if you are on a particular pivot table, we are on pivot table 5, and you can see we have filter connections. So you will see what filter connections are active, and these will be active on all of them. So otherwise you have to do extra work. So now I have copied this. So I will keep selecting attendance percentage, and I will select gender. So this will show us gender wise attendance percentage. Here we have pivot table. So here you can see we have its name, we have active field, field settings is given, everything can be selected from here as well. And after selecting this, we can go to insert, and we can select a type of chart. So let's select a pie chart or a 3D pie chart, which will show us percentage by attendance, percentage by gender. So we are going with this like simple chart, and then we can style it using these different icons. So using these settings. So let's say we can select this. You can see in our case attendance percentage is almost 50-50. We can select this and increase its width, height, everything, and it is showing total. So this is average percentage by gender. And if you will click here, you have different color options which you can select from here. So let's say if we go with this or this particular color, so that will be according to theme. So we can select some color that is according to theme, and if you want, you can change its background also. So here, actually, if you will click, you will see fill. So fill is this. You can remove this background, or you can add some background like this as well. So if you are adding a background like this, then you can change other colors also. For example, we can go with this, we can go with this. So we have different color palettes from where these colors will be selected. So let's go with this. I'm just going with this, later I will decide. Here we have other options, like if we go, we have format chart area option where we have border. So where we can enable rounded corner, and from here you can select border color. So I am going to select a dark color, but this will be our data. Here you can actually mention what this is. So this is average attendance by gender, and we can actually reduce its height, and this we can change its color also. So for this text, we can select a color which is properly visible, and let's say we are selecting 14 as font size. So now this chart is our final chart. We can select and paste it here. So once we have pasted the chart, we can now arrange it somewhere like this. So, and we can disable pivot fields. We can adjust its width and height and position of this heading so that we can show accordingly, or we can adjust other things. So let me adjust. Yeah, this will be good. So this is that we have to put 3 in one row. So that's how we can decide its width. Now we have this chart created. Next, we will create another pivot table and another chart. Important thing, check your filters also whether they are working or not. So you can see in different groups it is changing. If we select only one gender, it is changing. So applying these filters is very important and testing them. Next we will quickly copy this once again and paste it here. And now, because we closed these charts, so in pivot table analysis you have to select field list again to see the data. Now we will select by grade level. In grade level you can see we have different grade levels. So here we are again going to select this insert. This time I will select a bar chart. We can select this kind of bar chart here. This bar chart also, first of all, so let's adjust the width, or we will do it later. Let's change. So this will show attendance percentage by grade level. So whatever you want to write, and again because we have to use the same background color, we can actually right click it, and in fill we can use the same fill color, this one. And now you can see these bars are not visible, so we have to change color of these bars also. So let's select which one will be properly visible. I think if we go with this, so if we select orange, that will be also working. We can select this font color, we can select this font color. So we have to select entire thing and font and choose its color. Okay, similarly here also font color. Okay, here also even if we are going with orange, so I will select that. And even for this legend you can select font and color this. Okay, so now we have this data. Finally we have to give a rounded corner and then copy it and paste it here. So this will be average attendance percentage by grade level. I will adjust it width and height like this. Here we have this area, so we can increase area of this chart a little bit more, and this level we can shift a little bit up. So now we have two charts available. Here also if you want, like, you can right click here and in fill you can select the same color. So we have that color. Now we have to create another chart. So now we have created two. As I said, we have to adjust three. Once we will add three, then I will adjust their width. So these two are created. We can just place. I will just make them small, not make them disappear, so that sometimes we need them once again. But yeah, it's okay. Now we will copy it once more, and this time we are going to use study group. So a study group also is either group A, B or C. So like once we have a categorical field and a numerical field with us, so preferred charts are pie chart, bar chart, bar horizontal, this kind of charts can be selected. So if we go to insert, or we can also select a tree map. So I will select tree map later because I will there are extracurricular where tree map can be used. For this we can again go with a bar chart or a donut chart. Let's select a donut chart. Here you can see we have more pie chart options. So you can see we have the 3D pie chart, we have a donut chart. From here you can decide which chart will be better for you. So we can go with a funnel chart also. So you can see you can create this chart with data inside a pivot table. So with this pivot table data we can select either a column chart or a line chart or a bar chart. So let's select that. I am simply going with a bar chart like this, and because none of them are 3D, so I am not going to mix 2D with 3D. So I will select this, and very quickly I will change it styling same as above. So here again total is written, so attendance percentage by group or by study group. Quickly right click, fill our main fill color, select bars, fill this color, select text, and font. We can also use font styling, like we can use copy format, but this way I can quickly do it. Font, and you are also seeing how to do that again and again. Here also select all font, this, and select all font. Yes. Usually for past 2 or 3 years we are mostly using Power BI, so practice of this, when you will create more and more dashboards, it will come back again, or you will have more command over it. So now we are going to adjust the width, so I will just use this height, we will adjust accordingly. We can increase their width also because we have enough area. Align it to center, and now we have these three charts. You can see we have to adjust them, so I will just reduce their height a little bit so that we can provide sufficient gap between them horizontally and vertically. Now let's add other pivot tables. So we will copy it once again, and here again we are going to select, we are going to pivot table, analyze, field list, and finally we have attendance percentage by extracurricular also. So we will select with extracurricular. So it is showing art, music, sports, etc. And here, as I said, we can also insert a tree map. So we can select a tree map or a sunburst also. This cannot be created, but I think tree map will be. So it is saying we cannot do that inside pivot table. So if we copy this and paste it here, let's try. So then if we go and then we try to insert this data, then it is going to definitely create. So here uh, in a tree map, what it shows is on the basis of your values, you can see area is given like 80.95, 80.47. The area of the tree map is decided on the basis of that. Okay? That is what is done. We have different stylings also, where you can see or like this. So you can select different styling. Here for example it is showing what is representing art, music, etc. So you can select different icons, how legend is displayed. You can select using that also. So whatever is your preferred style, you can select that. For example, I am going with this dark one, and here in this dark chart, uh, again we will click here and we will just fill this with our background color. We will select this format chart area, so we will select rounded corner. So this is how you can actually copy and paste, but thing is we have to make the filters work. So once you will do something with pivot table, then filters will work properly. So that's why I am going to do this. How to copy the same filters on a chart that is created outside, so that is something that we have covered in other videos also, and we are going to cover in other videos. But here we can select uh, data accordingly. So like we have different type of column charts and pie chart option available, we can select from there. So basically in pivot table you can create charts that are supported by pivot. So for example, if you go here, you will see different data. So when you will select a pivot table, so you will be seeing pivot chart and then supported chart like this. So for example, we have surface radar. In radar chart, we can actually select radar with markers or field radar. We will go with radar with markers. So here it will create this. So this is attendance percentage by extracurricular. So I will check his spelling. So here what is representing is for art, average percentage value is very high. That's why you are seeing close to it. For sports, it is 80.38. You can see a gap. For music also very close to 80.47. So you can see close. But for none, it is lowest. So that's why this polygon that is being created. So it is like this. So where it is highest, its point will match with that particular category. So here also we will select a dark background, and after that dark background we will use fill as our same fill color, and then we can change other colors as needed. For example, for this fill we will select our orange color, so this will be the points. And let me check how we can change the line color. So when you will select this, you will get two options, fill and outline. In fill you can fill category points, and then you can select outline color. So this is attendance percentage by extracurricular. Here in chart we can select rounded corner, and we can copy and paste it here. So although this is not the best chart to show data for this case, but we are learning what is the use of different charts, how we can use them. We can actually increase its width because we have more width here. We can use this entire area. We can shift it up here. This legend also we can make it bold. So we have font where you can actually select lighter color, and you can increase its size. Font style bold. This thing can be done here so that it's properly visible. This is our canvas. So here also we can use a different plot area, and or you can format the plot area here where you can change its color. We can change different things. So everything is customizable. You just have to spend some extra time to change it. So that's what we can do. Let me shift it here so that we can view properly. So now we have this. Let's create some other visuals. So far we have seen only one versus one, like we have selected one field and selected other field and created a graph, like we have only X and Y kind of selection. But what if we create another thing and for example, let's say we want to see grade level wise scores of math, science and English. So we can select math, science and English score, and for them we can actually select sorry, we can actually select average. So we can go to these fields and we can select average. We can select average here also. So in this case we are selecting other fields, right? And average. So now we have one categorical field with us, and other fields are all numerical. So in such cases, if you go and insert in pivot chart, you will find combo chart option. it is showing what kind of combo charts can we create. So you can see we can select this where you can show average of science, average of English, average of math score. We can also try to show with line chart or area chart. So where you can see data like this or a data like this 3D charts like this. So these all options are available for us. So we can select a simple line chart here, or now the concept of clustered bars will also come. Clustered bars or stacked bars. So if here, if all marks represent full 100 percentage, then you can actually select this stacked bar chart to show how much they have scored in each subject. So that's how you can select. So now we are going with this simple chart over here, and here now you can see average score, English average, math score, everything, and that too by grade level. So now we can simply, first of all, we can select a dark color so that we don't have to do a lot of styling. Yeah, okay, dark color, and right click, fill, same color that we were using, and right click, format chart area, just select rounded corners. If you have to change anything else, you can change, or we can simply copy it and paste it here. So this is representing grade level wise performance. So we can adjust its width and height as per its neighbors. So we can use the same width, same height, and this will be our data where we are actually showing average grade level, and you can see it is showing average of, average of. So we can go with value field setting. So we can just write science, science score. We can write English score. So in field settings you can just go with that. So it is science score, English score. Those will be easier for people to view. So average of English score, or we can just write English score. So we can do this thing just as. So now you can see, as we have done row label wise, we have done grade wise. So we can do same thing, and we can go to pivot table field list, and here we can select some other category, or we can select this also, but this will be more complicated to analyze. As a pivot table it will work, but if you have to visualize this, then we can select a study group also, or for example let's select gender. So if we select this, we will be able to see their performance, like their science score, average English score, average maths score, and then we can go to insert pivot chart. From here we can select a combo. So thing is, their science score, average English score, and maths score are all same. That means they are marks. What if we select their attendance percentage also? So, and instead of sum of attendance percentage, we go to value field setting and average. So we can write average attendance. So now this is different. So if now we go and select pivot chart, like it has a different unit. So you can see average attendance percentage where it's landing. Here you also you can select. Now you have different options. For example, for science we are using clustered column. For English, clustered column. For math, again we will use a clustered column. So we are using clustered column for these three. If we select as a secondary axis, we will get rid of this. So for them, and for average attendance we are using a line chart. So we can select something like that. So for average math score, let's not select secondary axis and select a clustered column. So this will be a proper chart where for female and male average scores are being shown in a, you can say, clustered column chart, and attendance percent is shown in a, on a different axis. You can see secondary axis as a line chart. You can select this option also, and then we can click OK. So this chart will be created. Again, we can select one with the dark background, right click, fill, our same fill color, finally rounded corner, background color none. So this will be our data. Let's copy and paste it here. So this way you can keep adding visuals according to your need, according to data that you have to answer, according to questions that you have to answer using these dashboards. When business like schools, when they will contact you to create these dashboards, or if you are working as an analyst, if you are working as a teacher, anything in a school, you will be needed to work here. So you will be asked to answer a lot of questions. So these questions will be used in this dashboard. Like visuals to answer your questions will be used in these dashboards. That's how you can create a simple dashboard like this. I will admit it is a little bit complicated for me to create it in Excel, because I have done it a lot in Power BI. But I think with more practice, we can easily create them. So it needs regular practice, and more you will practice, more command you will get, more easily you will be able to do things. So that's our dashboard for you. If you have any suggestions, questions, you can ask them in the comment section. We also have a dedicated tutorial for Excel on our Udemy profile. I will share the link which you can buy. So try this at your end and let us know if you have any problems or questions. Thanks for watching. Once again, have a nice day.